Hello everybody. Right, I'm here today to talk about ground penetrating radar. So, ground penetrating radar is making the invisible visible. And the question I always get asked is, how did I get into GPR? Short story, I was working for a lady, she's an archaeologist, and lovely lady, she's done a lot of stuff in Egypt, and she was basically telling me how reliable it is looking at drainage stuff and finding all these sort of things. And she had a lot of problems with her property. If anyone follows me on social media, she was the one where the fencer put the post straight through the drain and it saturated her house. Now, basically from there, I had to find how to use this and, have a little trial on it. I got chatting to a chap I know. He said, come on over to my farm and have a play. So we went over to his farm and had a play, not like that. And I was literally mind blown. I couldn't believe it. It was like pretty easy to find all the drainage stuff and what have you. And it just went from there, basically. So that's how it basically works. I just got a little video. So there's me just going on, I'm going in a line there, and you can see I'm just putting some little flags down, and that's basically highlighting where you got the drainage going along there. Now, James Berry, he done the talk about the Public Health Act 1875, where everybody thought physical DPCs were actually part of it. But before that, we had the bylaws, and we had lots of stuff about subsoil drainage, like land drains. And the earliest reference I found next to me was in Warminster, and that was 1868. So these are the ones I have found over the years. So the third one in is the one where it got my sort of information about it all, because we kept finding third one in from the left, we kept finding these when we were digging the ground levels round. And that is what we kept finding. And we were thinking, why were these there? But these were part of the bylaws, obviously to deal with damp issues. Hidden wells, you can find hidden wells. So the left-hand one at the top, that's a very deep, that's from a recent survey. So sometimes, even from a health and safety perspective, if they've been covered over, you've got a bit of concrete or a bit of steel, lots of them are corroding. I'm sure you building surveyors have seen them. Bottom left-hand one there, you can see there was a drain actually in there, a pipe in there. Now, the other one on the other right-hand side there, you've got two pipes coming in. If you think about a well, and we're thinking about damp, lots of wells had puddled clay around them, so they actually waterproof. As soon as you put a pipe through there, it's basically allowing water to come out if that water's high enough, and it's like having a tap on. And on this one here, you can see, I'm pumping the well out on this one, and you can see, there was a big problem with this one. It's a longer video for it, to be fair. Cisterns, rainwater harvesting, something we probably need now. These were quite common. There's all different designs there. That left-hand picture there, you can see that was underneath a floor of property, completely flooded out, rotted out. There was other things going on there, to be fair, but you can see the middle picture, you can see that was one of the outlets for it. So obviously when this water come in, it had to get out as well. And obviously all of that sort of stuff when there's been changed. So with this one, we actually worked out where all the pipes were using GPR. Culverts, that's my favourite one, to be fair. On these ones here, this was an older building, and you can see, this is referenced, this is a nice flat top. If you're putting a camera down them, you really need to be careful, because you can lose them. Obviously, there's lots of things that can get snagged up on, and you can see some of them are blocked up. When I was at this project with a civil engineer, he was going through it, we actually thought all these culverts were going to like a ditch around the property. They actually didn't. We both got it wrong. But with the GPR, we mapped out exactly where they're to, and obviously you can facilitate cleaning on there. And this one here is a property. There's me little girl there. She got paid a tenner for the day. And she doesn't normally come to work, but it's for somebody I know. If you can see on here, you've got the flat top, which is referenced to them culverts on there. On this one property, it was a three-way culvert, since I've never seen before. And this was all going off to a land, like a balancing pond. And on the neighbour's property, they had all of their drainage coming through to it as well. Something you wouldn't have really found without this. French drains, love them or hate them, they're here to stay. Lots of these get put around buildings to deal with damp. Nobody knows actually where they are. I found 3 as a record around a building. This one here is a classic example. If you look at this, it's like up and down like a BMX track. That is actually poop soup. Somebody's connected that to the sewer, all backed up, probably a very good fertiliser. There's lots of plants growing there, I should imagine. And then, believe it or not, it was full up with wet wipes. So confined utilities, this picture here, somebody had a bill for 40,000 gallons of water. They had the stopcock off over winter. It was a sports field. We had to find the mains water for them. But typically gas, electric and mains you can find that stuff. We do a lot of lower in the ground level, so you've got lots of things to think about where you've got all these sort of services for health and safety points of view. Repairs. Porcelain tile patios now. There's so many of them out there. Graham Coleman, over in the corner, he's got a resin drive. He's the only person I know who's got one. They're so expensive. Tarmacking and all that. I've got the little gravel one on the end there. So I deal a lot with problems. Soakaways are such a big problem for me. If you could imagine with those soakaways, it can be difficult to repair them, to get all the cameras in and clean them out. If you put GPR across the drive, you can go into the grass area, dig it out, cut into the pipe, and you can clean it and line it from there. So it's such a common problem we're coming across now. So in my opinion, GPR fits in well with a joint methodology. I'm not saying everybody's going to use it, but I get involved in some absolutely weird jobs, and it's definitely another tool that certainly helps me for excess moisture issues. And if you're interested in some gadgets at lunchtime, I've been doing some stuff with some well surveys. You can see these ones, bits and bobs here. We can have a little chatty. Thanks very much.